Welcome back, Insiders. Today we're going to try to answer the question, what makes an action figure hot? Now, this could be an action figure, it could be a vehicle, it could be a playset, but what exactly makes it hot? That's what we're going to examine today inside the Sanctum, and it's glad to have you along. Before we can go through the reasons why an action figure is considered hot, we need to first define what exactly hot is. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to say a hot item is an item in demand on the market. This could be an action figure, a toy, it could be a vehicle, a playset. Whatever is in demand at the moment is what I consider to be a hot item. So with hot and in demand being equivalent, let's move on to the 5 reasons why an action figure can be considered hot. One of the first reasons could be rarity, meaning how rare is this item compared to others. Now, the rarity of an item could be based on several things also. It could be based on a short pack, meaning one figure of its kind packed in a case of 12 or 24 of other kinds with multiple figures of those. So that one item out of 12 or 24 is a quote-unquote rare item. Another reason why rarity occurs is if it's an exclusive to a store, an online store, a brick and mortar store. That's considered rare also because you can only find it at the one outlet. So if you have everybody searching one outlet, say Walmart, Target, or an online store, the odds of it getting sold out and purchased quicker is greater. So in demand due to exclusivity is another reason why a figure is considered rare. In a broader sense, if it's an older figure, I mean we're talking decades older, then rarity could be because they physically don't have the quality of figure at this time than it did 10, 20, 30, or 50 years ago, whatever that may be. So a rare figure back from 1970s may be hard to find due to just years and years of wearing it down, throwing it out, throwing it across your room as a kid, and the number of either packaged or loose figures that are in fair quality is rare. So out of those items, rarity is a factor when it comes to an item being hot. Another reason a figure is considered hot is perhaps the content of that figure itself. I mean, what is the character of the figure? Like taking a look at these items in front of me, you have Batgirl here, we have the Transformers with the DeLorean. Now, is this considered hot? I'd say it's in demand, but it's not exactly hot. But you have 2 franchises here, Transformers and Back to the Future. So what you're doing is you're now putting 2 fan bases collecting one item. So it's going to increase in demand. So that's one reason why, because the DeLorean is an iconic car, Transformers is an iconic toy line. So when you put the 2 together, the figure of what it is will be in demand more, or as they say, hot on the market. Another reason why a figure can be considered hot due to the figure or the character itself could be the lack of other figures that's been made about it. Now let's take the Phantom here. Sure, there's some older figures I'd have to check, but there's some older figures on the Phantom. But if there's big fans of the Phantom and all of a sudden if action figure comes out on the market, the demand over the release amount could be greater, so that would increase the rarity of the figure and thus make it hot on the market. So what I'm saying is if a figure has never been released before, it's new to the market and it's highly popular, odds are it's going to be in demand, and as such, it will become hot. A third reason why a figure or playset or a vehicle could be considered hot on the market is if it is signifying a significant milestone in some form. This could be a number 1 figure, a number 25 figure. It could be a franchise that's reaching 25 years since it began. Anything that marks a milestone in that IP's history can cause the figure to be in demand. Taking a look ahead of me here, back to the Transformer. This is the Back to the Future, if you could see. Let's see if I can get here. Back to the Future, the 35th anniversary. And that's why they created this figure that blends with the Transformer line. In addition, the Alpha Predator figure, which is very cool, by the way. There'll be a review on this figure in the coming weeks. But it's not the character of the figure itself, but it's also the milestone of NECA creating the 100th special edition Predator figure. So being the 100th figure, it's created a specific figure, and that's a milestone, which this figure could be in demand in the future. You know, another thing that's cool, just on a side note, is you notice the helmet on the Predator's right side, your left side if you're viewing it. That's taken from the prototype costume of the Predator that was to be worn by Jean-Claude Van Damme, and that initially got rejected. And as history goes, James Cameron of Titanic, Avatar, Terminator, and Aliens fame described, I believe on an airplane, what he thought the monster would look like with the mandibles as he has today. So essentially James Cameron actually assisted in the creature design of the Predator. Just a little side note as we go. But again, any milestones that are signified in a figure or playset, like the Predator 100th figure of NECA or the Back to the Future 35th anniversary, can be in demand or hot on the market. A final reason why a figure could be considered hot would be the character itself's popularity among the masses. Now, what that means is if there is just a character out there that everybody loves, then of course demand is high and the figure will be in demand. Now, I'm just using Lady J from the G.I. Joe Classified series as an example. I know a lot of people like that character. Does it mean this figure is hot? It's all in perspective. It's all relative to other figures. I'm going to say no to that. But one example is Major Blood from the G.I. Joe Classified. It's not that Major Blood is popular among the masses, but if you go back a couple of my points, you're going to know that Major Blood is a Target exclusive and very difficult to find, which is why he is hot on the market today. Also, if you've seen Masters of the Universe, if you've seen Panther, the Battle Cat of Skeletor, there's two versions, one plastic fur or plastic only, and one that has a faux fur. That faux fur is highly in demand. So a specific traits on a character is also a reason why something could be considered hot or in demand. And just a side note, I have one that I received in the mail that I'm going to be holding on to, and a couple more that I may win on an eBay bid. But that's part of the reason why figures can be hot. Final note, guys, if there is a tie-in with a movie, a comic book, or other big event that coincides with a character being released as an action figure, that can also boost the hotness of the figure on the shelves. So like I said, if a Batman movie comes out, or let's use this as an example, if a Batgirl movie comes out or a Batgirl television show, you never know what will happen to the figures once that gets released. The popularity of the figure could increase when the popularity of the character increases due to the release of the television or the movie. So that's one more reason why a figure could be considered hot, is if it's tied into a movie, a comic book, or other media project, it becomes known to a lot of people, and then they hunt for similar items of that character. And action figures are one of those. Now, should you go out and search for the hot items on the market today? Well, that's going to be a video for another day, but in general, it actually adds to the excitement of the hunt of the figures. If there's a figure in demand, it actually gives you a reason to be hunting several stores, and the satisfaction of finding it is great and an enjoyable feeling if you do get a hold of that figure. So stay tuned for the next video, which should come out shortly, probably within the next week. We're going to discuss, is it wise to spend extra money on a hot figure? Is the answer yes, no, or maybe? We'll just stay tuned for the next few days, and I will answer that question for you. Well, that's all I have for you now, insiders. Please stay tuned for my future videos so we can explore more in the world of action figures, toys, and playsets. Enjoy your day, and until next time.